All right, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today is such a beautiful, overcast day, and I'm excited because what I'm going to start doing from now on is I am going to teach y'all how to actually fish now. And so, as requested by someone I have been teaching fishing in person, they wanted me to go over the Texas rig, which is one of the most basic bass fishing techniques you can learn. And so, I already have it in hand, and I just want to kind of show y'all what it looked like up close. And what I mean by basic, all it consists of is two pieces of terminal tackle. Terminal tackle is the stuff that you are going to lose when you do go fishing. So when we're talking about one piece being the weight, and it comes in a few names. You'll hear bullet weight, worm weight, flipping weight. So you're going to have a weight, and you can fish a Texas rig weightless and just have just a hook, but most times you're going to want to have a weight on there just so it's on the bottom. And then of course you're going to have your worm hook, and I'm going to go over just a few pieces of anatomy in this hook as well, so that way you can kind of get a good understanding of how your Texas rig should look. So I'm going to grab me my soft plastic, and I'm going to show you how to get it rigged up. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to show you how to fish the Texas rig as well, like what your retrieve should look like, how you should be working it, and what the presentation of your lure should be giving off when it is in the water. All right, so now that I got my soft plastic, so I'm just going to use this blazing worm, Google Squad Baits blazing worm, and I'm going to just show y'all how you want to set up your Texas rig. The first thing you want to always make sure is when you actually get done with this, that it looks straight on the hook. You don't want no lumps, no hunches, no curves or anything. You want your soft plastics to be straight on this worm. So let me quickly help you out by understanding what's going to make your Texas rig a little more, or have a better presentation, I should say. Is you want to actually guide the hook through this soft plastic. Guide the hook through the soft plastic. So in order to be able to guide the hook, you got to understand the anatomy of a hook. So I'm going to briefly go over that. So of course you have your hook point. That's what you're going to be using. You have your first bend, your second bend, and then we're going to say the eye of the hook, which is what your line is tied to. All right, so anyway, so what I like to do to really make this simple is when I'm tying or putting on my soft plastic for the Texas rig, is I always pinch my hook point entries where the point of the hook is going through the soft plastic. All right, so anyway, so I got the tip of my soft plastic. I'm gonna take my hook point and go right, try to find the center and go right through until I get to the first bend. Once you get to the first bend, I'm gonna stop right there, and this is where we're at right now. So I'm at the first bend on that. Once we get through the first bend, then you're gonna, like I said, pinch it, but then guide your hook out. So now it's through that first bend. So here's where we're at right now as far as time getting the Texas rig on there. Now you're gonna take the tip, and you're gonna, like I said, you can guide your hook, or you got the soft plastic all the way to the eyelet of your hook. And the best way to do that is just keep guiding the hook, guiding the hook. You can even grab down here and pull it. So once you get about to the eyelet, you're gonna get to your second, or I would say the third bend, or where the eyelet is at. You're going to take your soft plastic and push it up all the way to the eyelet, and you're going to have to do a little twist. Get your soft plastic over the eyelet, kind of make it disappear. So now you no longer see the knot in your line on your hook eye and everything. And now here we are. Now here's when things get a little more technical, but it's going to get good. So like I said, when you are doing the Texas rig, you want it to look straight on the hook. So I'm trying to keep it from spinning, but you want it to be as straight as possible on the hook. So what I like to do is how I'm just doing this vertical, because I feel like this is the easy way of doing it. And as you get better, you can probably do it horizontal when you're just doing it like this, but to kind of make things a little easier, I feel like you should start vertically doing this. So like let it hang, see where it's kind of straight. You got to find that second hook point entry where that hook is going to go into. So once you find it, and grab your hook, like I said, pinch the hook point entry. So what I like to do is I like to use my thumb as a guide. So find where that bend is. That's where your hook point entry is. Then you're just going to bend your soft plastic to the hook point, guide it through again. Like I said, pinch the hook point entry where it's going to come out of, or the exit, so that way you can hook yourself, and then just bend it through. So now we have our worm on there, is as straight as possible. And then the last part is what they call text post, in which you're basically, see how your hook point is kind of exposed a little bit. You're going to kind of push up on it a little bit, push up on the body and bury the hook point back into the soft plastic. So now it's on there. So this is now become a weedless presentation. So you're going to be fishing your Texas rig basically around cover, and this is your finished product. This is what you should be looking at. Let me see if I can get that in there better. Right there, worm sitting on the plastic, not really banging on the hook. Hook is buried in the soft plastic, making it weedless, so you can fish it around cover. And when I am referring to as cover is, there'll be rocks from the bottom. You can fish it through grass, or you can fish it around fallen tree limbs or trees around the branches and everything, so you're not getting snagged as much. That's what it's for. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that you won't get snagged, because it can still happen, but it's just kind of to prevent it from happening frequently. But this is what the Texas rig should be looking like. I'm gonna do this again, but I'm gonna do it from the first person point of view, so you can kind of see my hands do a little more of the work. Not see much as me, but this is what we are looking for. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna give you kind of 2 point of views for this, so y'all can really get this down pat, because I can't tell you how imperative it is learning this Texas rig. So like I said, I got pinching the tip of my soft plastic. I got my hook. You're gonna find the center of your soft plastic, get your hook point through, get to that first bend of the hook, find your exit point, and get there, come through. So now, like I said, you're sitting there, and you're going to guide your soft plastic all the way up to the eye of the hook, and then you're going to twist. So now it's buried in there, so not disappeared. So you're in there. Find where it's straightened. Once you see where it's straight, I'm trying to get it to stop spinning, so you kind of see where it's straight, where the hook should be going through. Use your thumb to guide it. So like I said, I'm still pinching, using my thumb. This is where the hook should be going. Bend the soft plastic, and then bring it through. Try to find the center and keep it straight as possible. Pinching, and then you just guide the hook through, so you're not poking yourself or hooking yourself. So now the hook is out. You can see it's on there as straight as possible. And then you're going to text post, which is burying the hook point back into the soft plastic. You're going to push up just a little bit, and then pull it over the point. And now your Texas rig again. And this is from the first person. So I'm going to slide my weight down on there, and this is what we should be looking like. As straight as possible. Weight is on there. Now, I will say this for a pro tip: if you've been seeing my weight been hanging and getting stopped, I do add a peg stop or weight stop on there, so that way, the weight meets there and it stays there. I would say for beginners, you don't really need one, especially when you're fishing around open water. So what you're going to do is that weight is going to get away from the soft plastic, so it's going to kind of just flutter around under the water, because the weight's not really attached to it. But when you get better and you start fishing around cover, you're going to have that peg stop real close to the weight, so that way you can get through that cover with, once again, not getting snagged as much. So that's what that is for. But like I said, just for the beginners though, it's not necessary, it's not dire, but as you get better, I do recommend having one. All right, so now what I'm about to get into now is I'm going to show you how to actually fish the Texas rig. Like I said, what the retrieve should look like. There's 2 types of retrieves to me, so I'm just going to get into it. But what I do also want to discuss real briefly is, because of course I am using my bait caster, because that's just what I like fishing on. But you can still fish a Texas rig on a spinning reel setup. And when you are, I really prefer weightless on the spinning reel. Like right now I got the dart on there, so it's a fluke style bait, for soft jerk bait fishing, but you can still fish it on something lighter. You don't have to have a weight. Like I said, this is why I prefer it on the spinning setup. But for this purpose, I am using my bait cast, because this is what I like to use. I can briefly go over this real quick, but I just want to share that with y'all. So let's just get into it. All right, so anyway, so like I said, we got the Texas rig on there. And so what we're going to be doing is, so once you get your, whatever you got tied on there out there, what you're going to want to do is you got to really, with Texas rig fishing, I'm going to say is you have to pay attention to your line. Now, I know you can't really see mine the way I can see it and everything, but you have to pay attention to your line, because when you first cast up there, the weight's going to drop. Everything's going to be on what we call slack line, in which you will see a bow in your line from your rod tip and just bows down, and then whatever it's at or landed in the water. So what I like to do is you reel up a little bit, get the slack out of your line, reel up. Now the first retrieve is what we call a hop, and all you're going to do is you're going to just raise your rod tip. So when you raise your rod tip, as I'm doing, I want to make sure y'all getting this as well. You raise your rod tip. One, you're picking it up off the bottom. This is a bottom fishing technique, and you're going to be like I said, just raising it, hopping it. And so what's happening is that you pick up the line, your lure's coming with it, and then it's going to fall back to the bottom, which is going to create slack line again. So you just want to tighten that up, and then just very slowly work it back to just hopping it off the bottom. And what more times going to happen is that weight's going to kick up dirt, make it look like something's feeding off the bottom. Especially with whatever soft plastic, whether it's a worm, a crawl, a swim bait kind of soft plastic creature. There's all varieties, so you're going to be using them all, but it's going to be making like it's feeding off the bottom. And so what is going to happen is eventually it's going to get somebody's attention, and they're going to pick it up. And so the way that I would honestly say is like, this is how I was just taught. When a bass bites, they either want to pick it up and run, and you want to watch your line kind of swim off in one direction or another, or you're going to really feel this bite, and it's going to feel like a huge tug at the end. And at that point, that's when you're going to want to set the hook. So I said that's just one. The other way of retrieving it is what we say, just dragging it on the bottom. And when you're dragging it, you're not going to really pick it up. You're just going to sweep your rod, tighten that slack line, sweep. So just kind of bring it to the side a little bit is what you're wanting to do. Those are the two retrieves that you're going to have on a fishing Texas rig. You want to hop it and you want to drag it. Now, another one that you can do is not the most common one, but I will say is you will also swim it. You can swim it, just kind of steadily retrieve and keeping it off the bottom and swim it back and forth. So I was just kind of like swimming it right then and there at the end. Let's see. Right now I'm just dragging it. But if I want to swim it, I'm just getting a nice retrieve so it's off the bottom, whatever depth I want it at, and that's how you retrieve it. Oh yeah, that was good swimming it. Got a little bit of grass on it, but that's all right. The hook came out. It's all good. But all right, so anyway, that is it for the Texas rig. Like I said, it's a very simple, very basic rig for bass fishing. It will definitely catch you your first bass if you're doing it right. And I just want to wrap this up. And if you have any other questions, definitely leave me some comments. I will definitely reach back out to you. Also, in that comment section, let me know what you want to learn next. As I'm just putting together a beginner's guide. I really don't have a direction of how I want it to go. I'm just going to put that information out there, make it as simple as possible, that is understanding and easy for anybody to get out there so they can catch their first bass. So just thank y'all for watching and stay tuned in. That's how you do it right there. That's how you. Like, you ain't going nowhere this time. I need you to calm down, calm down. This time I got him to grab it where I need him to grab without him getting gut hooked, but let's see if we can get this nice size bass out. There we go. Nice little chunk on a weightless Texas rig. And that's all I want to share with y'all. Nice little bass. Ain't that something? A little bonus footage for y'all.